everyone to Let's Talk. I'm Jade Harrell, and we are back once again to talk about the world that we are facing right now, all of our current ideas and what we are feeling about the news of the day. I am joined by three amazing women, Amber Clear, Amy Rivera, and Tina Love. Ladies, welcome back. And we always like to start with what we're loving right now. So if you're feeling well and you're loving something, why don't you go ahead and tell me what is on your mind right now? Amy, I'm starting with you.
Oh, well, I'm loving pet therapy. With a time like we have right now, these little guys come in handy. Not only do they need love, but we need love from them. So he's going to be my co-host today.
Fantastic. And what is his name?
His name is Murphy Rivera.
Oh, Murphy.
Hi, Murphy.
I think we're loving Murphy too. My dog Rocky is too big to even fit in a frame. And if he even tried to get on my lap right now, I'd probably fall over. So Murphy is a nice little fun size therapy session that I could use right now myself. Amber Claire, what are you loving right now?
I am loving my motorcycle. So with this weather and some added stress, I'll say, of like just life, I can get on my motorcycle, put my helmet on, and just go. And the only thing that I can think about is what's right in front of me. That's the only thing that I can focus on. So it's like a nice break for me life-wise, because as you guys know, I have ADD, ADHD, and that seems to be the only thing that keeps me grounded. Like literally that I can just only focus on the road. I can't focus on anything else. So
let me ask, does your mind still wander and drift, with having all that space and openness to just be?
So yes, but in a completely different way. Like I have some of my best thoughts inside my helmet, but everything has to be quicker, faster, more funner, because I have to watch, like, is this car going to pull out? Is that a dog? Is that a deer? Are my lights going far enough? Am I shifting gears? Am I stopping for this light? Like when you're on a motorcycle, everything is heightened. Like if there was any way that I felt like I could ride across the country again right now and not have to like quarantine every 5 minutes, I was gonna ride to Salem, Massachusetts.
What?
Yeah. So I've ridden like all over, but I've never been to like Salem during like, October, like spooky fall season. And I'm like, you know what? I can like work remotely enough. Like I should just do this. And I looked it up and I can't just do this. Every town that I even looked at going to is like, if you don't have a COVID test in the last 72 hours, you can be denied hotel rooms. You can be denied entry into like towns, like entire towns. So I'm just riding around, just riding around.
Yeah. I would actually I could probably get with that too. So if you have one of those little buggy attachments.
Sidecar. I have a sidecar.
Okay, yes. It's on. We're just going to go for it. I say we go for it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'm next.
Yes. So that's it. If we survive, then it's all good.
Yeah.
Tina Love, because of the love in your name, what are you loving right now, my dear?
Girl, I had just, even though we do this every week and we say, what do we love? I had totally forgot. So I had to think about it. But I'm going to say that I am loving the color red today. I'm loving reds, So I got these red ethnic, Afrocentric sort of earrings going on and the red lips, you know what I'm saying?
Or
AKA, that's the, you know what I'm saying? We don't always wear a lot of red, but.
Right. Oh, to your DST sister.
We do it occasionally.
But it does look really great on you, by the way. It really makes it pop. The first thing that came to mind for me was apples. I thought about the fall apple season. And, you reminded me of that. So I absolutely love your red. What I'm loving right now is the cool breeze and fair, simple weather. It's been the soothing balm and what seems to be agitation in the air for me. And especially with the recent series of more events of loss, of tragedy, of major disruption and all of that going on. So to be able to sit back and just have a cool breeze and peaceful atmosphere has been what I've been loving the most, honestly. So I am so glad that you found something. I don't want anybody to show up and say, I got nothing, you know. But let's go a little bit to some of the stuff that's going on in the world and that we are paying attention to. And one of the stories that is getting a lot of attention right now, and I even would encourage there to be more, is the forced sterilization of women in the ICE detention facilities. Now, yes, it is certainly shocking, but it's nothing new in our country. And sadly, the U.S. has a long history here. Amber, I'm
so do other countries, though. So do other countries.
For sure.
Yeah.
But with reference to, you know, ICE and who's executing it right now, and I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because our conversation would have had to evolve to a global women's persecution and assault, as I might kick it off to say, that we have been facing for centuries. So, Amber, since you did, I'm going to have you kick it off. Forced sterilization. This recent news or recent story and article is a whistleblower actually brought out the fact that a woman had been given, a 30-year-old former detainee had been given a hysterectomy without her consent. And then they justified it by saying they had to make a medical decision in a point of urgency or emergency. Amber, I know this gets under your skin, but tell me where that lands with you right now.
So I've had medical emergencies where the doctor has had to make a decision for me. However, it's always been explained what the emergency was and what their options were. And the fact that they just say there was an emergency and don't list anything is super suspect for me. And my initial reaction immediately is like, what the front door? I thought this was 2020. Like, I know that Bayer did some super dark and shady stuff during the Holocaust. And I know that there is a lot of, if you go just back to like American history, there's a lot of treatment nowadays that there's statues of people that did terrible things to people for medical advancement stuff without anesthesia. And I'll let you guys speak on that a little bit later, but it's like, wow, this is real life. Like, wow. You see this stuff in movies from like a long time ago. This is not supposed to be happening in my time. This is not supposed to be happening now. And wow, like I don't even, there's not enough anger inside of me to like comprehend all of this. So
pinpoint the anger. What makes you mad? Why are you angry?
So without consent, first of all. So I know that some people are trying to justify, oh, he's not board certified in this or whatever. And all of that is pretty common. Like certain doctors, you only have to be the certification that he needs, he has. However, the fact that they're basically using this as another experiment, or he's doing whatever he wants, and this is surfacing now. So it tells me like what else is really happening in there, and what was he really like, how far has he gotten that this is where the point is the whistleblower comes out. So it's like,
yeah. Tina,
wow.
And when you saw this, what did it evoke for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm with Amber. You know, I was outraged just to find out, you know, that, you know, when she laid down, she thought a certain thing was going to take place. And then you wake up and you're 30 years old. I mean, I had my son at 30 years old. That was my first child at 30. At 30, you wake up and you find out you have had a hysterectomy. You know, again, it's to me, it's mind blowing. I can remember after having my child at 30, you know, I was told they didn't want to tie my tubes right away because, you know, with having only one child, they didn't want to do that because you might make a decision later on that you want to have more kids. And so even though I kind of was thinking, well, maybe I ought to get my tubes tied, they didn't even want to do that to me because they wanted to give me an opportunity to have a choice later on.
It's because they didn't want to listen to you then. Here's the thing. They didn't give you your own voice then either. So both things are wrong. It's not that either party, it's your body. You
Well,
should
I
have
guess
the
so.
choice.
When you look
should
at it
have
that
the
way,
choice
yeah,
whether you wanted it or not.
right,
Is
absolutely.
that the way you saw it?
Right. And at the end of the day, I'm with Amber. You want to be consulted. You want to have the choice. You want to be able to have a say. And so not being able to have a say is pretty disturbing.
I wish that I
Where
could.
it makes me angry. So I asked Amber about her anger because I'm also trying to temper my feelings with this. Because other than men, this is gonna be harsh. And I tend to be I'm pretty passionate about this. Other than men, and we'll say other dominant cultures, nobody has to ask, defend, plead for basic human rights. Without consent, woman, Black, anything, if we're able to consent, then there's no other line. I don't understand why in this day and age that we're still talking about, oh, can I have a say with myself?
Right.
Can I
My own
determine
body.
my
You
fate?
don't have body autonomy. And more
And those
importantly,
that are making those decisions, and we're talking from the least to the greatest of things to make decisions about and choices about, that is obstructed and oppressed and essentially stolen from women on so many occasions. And I'm really enough already.
Angry. It makes
absolutely.
And then don't let me be angry and a Black woman, because then I have another hill to climb. That'll be a battle because I'm not entitled to have those feelings.
Right.
So this to me falls in that same line of enough already. We are human flipping beings. And not even grant us, if I have to ask you to grant it to me, I'm not equitable anyway. You do not determine the permission for me.
And here's the thing, that doctor had already had complaints about him. That doctor had already had a file on him.
I mean, when you're known as the uterine collector, there's an issue. You have a name called the uterine collector, and according to research, there's over 70,000 cases in the United States right now where women don't have a voice with their own body. And, I don't care what it is, verbal or not, you don't give consent unless it's written. I was 20 and had a tubal ligation because I didn't ask permission. I just said, you're going to do this, and this is my body, and here's why.
So I tried that, and I have a different story.
Being in the medical community that I am, I know how to use keywords to get what I want. And when I read this, I was like, here's another man trying to tell women what they can and can't do with their own body. Yeah. And shame on him and shame on everyone else who hid this from people, because this poor woman, I don't care if she was illegal or not or whatever the circumstances are, she is a human being and you need to be treated with respect. And no man is going to tell me what I can do with my body. When I went for surgery, my last surgery for my leg, my doctor said to me right before surgery, we might have to take skin from your leg because of the damage that has been done. If it becomes an emergency and it's a medical necessity, I need you to sign this form that you're okay with this. I signed it knowing it could happen and it could not happen. When I woke up from surgery, I had a 16 and a half inch incision on my leg that I signed consent for. This man is just going in and taking this because he feels like women don't need to have children because they're where they're at. Well, he cannot make a decision for a woman.
And we're looking at the symptoms of a long-standing prevalent problem in establishing who is or is not worthy, deemed to be fit and qualified to make their own choices. listening to Amy, you have a relationship and a conversation and an agreement. These are deliberate, like assaults. These are, it's to me, that's no different.
I do have to pause. I do want to
no
pause.
different than rape with this man, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Taking these women's uterus.
Yeah.
Or
So
uterus.
first,
And
if we're
doing
going to
this,
talk about the bad, I want to acknowledge giant kudos to, I think she was a nurse, Dawn Wooten. Giant kudos to her for having the courage.
Thank you, Dawn.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Dawn. Yeah.
the fact that she stood up, I want to make sure that her name is mentioned in a positive light, because she's like, I mean, if there's a hero in this situation, if we have to pick, like, that's someone who's standing up for someone else. So, yay, Dawn Wooten, great job. We need more women, more people like you that will stand up who don't have a voice.
Just don't be afraid to stand up. This is the time where we need to be powerful. Our voices need to be heard, and no one is going to shut us down or muffle our voices. It's over. It's done. It's a wrap.
And if anything, I want to assure other women that if you're not, you don't have to face these confrontations scenarios alone. And because of Dawn, others spoke up. Because of Dawn, this came to an end. And so we, in the spirit of Amy saying, do not take it. I'm not saying you've got to pick up the sword, but certainly pick up a sister to stand with you and speak up for yourself, or have someone help you and advocate for you. And as we think of somebody, this couldn't have been a better time or transition to think of somebody who stood up for our rights. The Notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We salute and give thanks for her and her commitment and life toward us. And we're going to talk some more about that as we take a break. Ladies, let's drive home the fact that we declare and decree that we can decide for ourselves.
Yes.
And speak for ourselves.
That's right.
Give us the room to do so. All right. So we'll talk some more about that. We want you to join the conversation. Please reach out to us if there's something you want us to cover, or lend your voice to the conversation. We definitely want to hear about it. We'll be right back. Stay close.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
And we're back for Let's Talk. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. Amber Clear, Amy Rivera, and Tina Love. I'm Jade Harrell, and we're talking about our hero, actually Shero, powerhouse, the Notorious RBG, as she was named, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Bravo, thank you, bravo, for your commitment, service, and gifts that you provided for us as women over the course of your life, your long, dedicated life. Everybody, what comes to mind immediately? Well, where were you when you heard the news, and how did you respond? What did you?
Yeah. You know, I was actually, I was just on the phone, I think, and then I saw, how CNN just kind of cuts in and, gives you this update, and I saw that, and immediately, I just wanted to cry, there was just a lot of emotion, you know what I mean? But just thinking about her and reflecting back on the fact that she was small, but she was mighty, you know what I mean? She was top of her class graduating, and yet at the time couldn't find a job.
And she was taking care of her husband, and she was taking care of her child. Her husband had cancer at the time. Yeah.
Absolutely. When I think about and I hear about the fact that when she graduated from high school, she lost her mother like the day before or something.
Right.
I also think about the fact of all the different health challenges that she fought. And when I think about the fact that I reflect on her being so strong, when I say small but mighty, her doing those 20 push-ups or whatever, she would do. And then her talking about the fact that she had her 30-second planks that she would do. This little lady was so strong. When I think about the fact of her going over to the other side and seeing her husband and seeing her mother and just being told, well done, thy good and faithful servant. What a great job she's done. And her crown. Now she has her crown.
When I hear you, Tina, I hear both the elation as well as some of the longing. What do you feel is the most present for you right now? The sadness for the loss, or
it's elation. Yeah, it's elation. And it's the fact that, although, I'm sure they're going to replace her, but I really believe she's irreplaceable. Surely we'll have someone that will take her spot, but there'll never be another Notorious RBG.
All right. Yes. What were you saying, Amber?
So even if you just think about as a woman, because my grandma died last October, and she was 93 years old. And we used to have a lot of conversations about the changes that she saw in her lifetime, because she lived in the Midwest. So changes were slower to come. She lived in a very small town. So in one hand, she had more power, but on the other hand, she had less power. It's a weird dynamic. But I found out because I teach a social media class, and I have a slide where I talk about the year 1974. That's 10 years before I was born. 1974, there's an ad that came out from a particular company that references women. And 1974 is also the same year that women were finally allowed to have their own credit card without a husband, a brother, or a father signing for them. And that was largely in part because of RBG. So it's 1974.
When I hear you say it, Amber, it almost sounds like we're talking about minor children. Like my 12-year-old can't enter into agreements. My 14-year-old can't get a driver's license. It sounds like you're talking about a child.
Yeah.
And her, in her great capability. First of all, shouts out for the 20 push-ups and the 30-second planks. I need to step up my game.
At 80-something years old.
Right? But it just really troubles me that how can you look at us where you've all come from the womb of a woman?
Yeah. And
how can you look in us in any diminished capacity below givers of life, nurturers of health, and providers of love and energy and joy? It just, while you were talking, it sounded like we were talking about children.
So here's the messed up thing for me, I guess, from my perspective, that if I'm married to someone, if we both had to sign for the other person to get a credit card, like if my husband, my faux husband, was getting a credit card and I had to sign for him and he had to sign for me, that makes sense in my head, because as a marriage, we should financially be on the same page. But the fact that I just couldn't do it as a female in 1970 until 1974, because I probably
didn't have no problem with giving other things though. Let it be your body. Ooh.
Right.
Don't need to sign a dotted line for that here. Just give it here,
So
we want to hear you chime in too, Amy. Especially when your conversation is often about the rights of people, the space for people to be human. Well,
when I first went to DC, and when I go into lobby for the Lymphedema Treatment Act or anything, walking into DC is terrifying as a woman to begin with. And I kept saying to myself, if she did all these things, I can walk up these stairs, I can do this. And, I don't want to say I'm sad that she has gone home to be with her loved ones, but what I will say is I hope to leave a legacy like she did.
There it is.
I hope to leave a legacy because if we as women take anything from this, it's to be more like her, not just so we can get the glory, but to support other women and to support people as a whole. I have a love for humanity that most people don't understand. Sometimes I don't either, but I will say that I'm so happy I have it because I want to be like her and her strength. And like I said, she was small but mighty, and just she left a profound impact on my life personally. Being all the struggles that she's went through, I can relate to, and I just hope to leave a legacy like she does.
Yeah.
What I want to drive home for us ladies today is that we're reminded about all of her greatness, strength, resiliency, accomplishments, as well as challenges in the time of her death. She lived to be nearly 90 years old. And if there's anything I want us to really bring home is appreciating, valuing, and having the gratitude during the time of these things. And the reminder happens as they pass along. The inspiration for us is that in every aspect of your life, you can be at your level 10. If there's any takeaway from our day to day, that whatever level, whether it be your career, whether it be your family, whether it be your community, work, in any of those, and most certainly personally, that you can be at your greatest level in all your levels and can live that all full out in your full expression, especially with people who love and support you. So shouts out to her Marty, who loved her and advocated for her and opened doors and let people know that, no, I stand for what she stands for, as she did for him. And then that spirit of, I'm gonna get up and keep going, from losing her mother in high school to losing him to even going through her own personal surgeries. She showed up the next day.
Oh yeah.
She showed up the next day and the next day and the next day.
Yeah.
And she founded her mind and imagination and opportunities, which she, not only for herself, but she did for us. And that has certainly inspired me, which gives me even more fire and energy toward what we're doing here. So
yeah, I
remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I would highly recommend dig into some of the stories and the remembrances and all the different ways that you can examine her life, and let that be a positive light in the times of trouble that we have, y'all. And I'm so glad that we've had this time to talk. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us again. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday and find us on all your favorite platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and we can't wait to hear from you. Comment, let us know, and let what you're talking about, and most certainly you are always welcome to join the conversation. Amy, Amber, Tina, much love to you all, ladies. Have an exceptional week, and I will see you next time. Three, two, and one. Welcome to let's us get together. Everybody sing. Don't worry. Be happy. What you got in your cup, girl?
Cocoa.
Ah, cocoa in the cup. We like the cocoa in the cup. Okay, 3, 2, and 1.